You probably won't want to hear about these, let alone do them. In fact, you may hate most of them. And they're practiced by legendary bodyweight masters across our realm, from the hidden mountains to the flat horizontal plains. But these really are the only 4 moves you should be doing for your whole training session. These principles I share are hated because they involve physical and mental training that are difficult, take long periods of time, and expose weak links and blind spots that, let's face it, we'd probably rather just ignore. And they're outside the mainstream, utilized by only the rare few. Yet if we cast the light upon these principles and the moves I'll show you, not only will we grow in strength, flexibility, and skill, but in the rest of our lives, becoming better human beings in the long term. We'll do training like this in Pacific Rim Athletics for all sorts of rounds using all kinds of similar moves in this video, and our students are explosively flying through the levels of Powerbatics like Hulk smashing through walls. To make it simple, put this video on repeat for 5 rounds and see if you can do it. Now, let me be clear, this is but a small sneak peek through the portal into real training. First move, this is the true gateway to all upper body strength. Not weights, not bands, not kettlebells, and big arms don't solve the problem. Now you know how I roll. I'm not just gonna show you basics. I'll show you a foundational move, the one, and how it relates to the entire system, the many. Trinitarian conceptualization of physical training. So, pushing strength, the true first move in our discussion. And let that sink in. Pushing is the first move. Not dumbbells, not a push-up, not a handstand, the entire spectrum of pushing. From plank all the way to a flying spinning handstand, catching in a planche. Where a person exists on that spectrum highlights the level of both their physical and mental training. And the expression of the entire body through holistic motion is both the ends and the means. Now, to avoid overwhelm, if we were to split the spectrum and identify the most important cross-sectional element, it would be the flying frog. It's the bridge that connects fully supported basics like planks, push-ups, bench press, and everything else that has feet in contact with the ground over the unbridgeable chasm to the unsupported electrostatics-defying upper body strength. Some people's first milestone might be getting into the position with their feet on the ground. Others might be holding for 2 minutes straight, the magic number for levitation. But in order to fly, to go from a supported position like the well-known frog stand to a simple flying frog, it requires massive mental evolution. The biggest factor for each and every human being that has ever walked this plane of existence, including me, is pride. It manifests in so many ways, from laziness and I'll wait for a better day, to excuses for why we haven't done it yet, projecting that blame onto others, finances, or culture. If you want different, you have to choose different. And learning how to fly, to build true strength, takes mental more than you realize. Second move. The second move begins with the first. If you don't have the first, don't do the second. Yep, not what you want to hear. I remember my coach in decades past hollering across the way saying that looks like shit. Oh well, time to go train with better quality. Then it gets better and we can move on to more information and eventually mastery. Where mastery doesn't mean we solve the Rubik's Cube for good. It just means we can do it in more situations, adapt as needed, and with better freedom. But it begins with the ability at minimum to control your own movement on the ground. Now, everyone wants pull-ups, and rightly so. It's a function of normal, yes, normal upper body strength. Not anything advanced. If a person doesn't have pull-ups, they've got work to do. But that is not the second move any more than the frog stand was the first move. The second move is pulling in its totality, from rows to muscle-ups to climbing the rope to one-arm pull-ups. Again, to split the spectrum with the laser of precision, we concentrate our focus on one move of prime importance, the grip. No grip equals no pull-ups, no muscle-ups, no one-arm pull-ups, no rope climbs, no launches, laches, or anything fun. And no, we do not use grips like gymnastics. In fact, we distance ourselves entirely from all hierarchical, top-down conformist methodologies, especially those with disturbingly high injury rates, not to mention psychological breakdown in children. But back to the positive and the focus on the grip. Here's exactly how we train grip, and everything else hanging and pulling. The ninja strength kata. You're hanging for time while you execute moves, sometimes even while a whole group is doing it slowly, move by move. In a way, grip becomes full body. And as you advance through the katas, which become more and more demanding, you simultaneously develop a greater grip on life. See the mental side again? So what's the sets and reps for developing pulling strength, including grip, all the way to pull-ups and beyond? Sets and reps are meaningless. Yes, you heard that right. I can't even remember the last time I did sets and reps of anything. It's a man-made construct. construct that may or may not always work as a tool and used to commoditize health into cheap cookie-cutter courses. Sometimes we'll use them for students as an easy-to-follow structure, but it's constantly changing and evolving the way it should be. Like I mentioned for pushing, the magic number seems to be 2 minutes. Then you can start flying. Push yourself further and further every day. Third move, core. Did you know that core is trained by both the aforementioned moves, holistic pushing and holistic pulling? If there's breakdown, most times it's core. The move here will borrow from our warm-up, a simple hollow hold, and I can guarantee you're gonna cheat, and it has everything to do with the mental training. You have to understand, your body is built to survive, and that includes the instinct to conserve. You must do the opposite, and in every little area, your body is gonna wanna cheat. You won't extend your arms fully. Your back will arch so there's a gap next to the floor. You'll let your legs relax. You'll even interlock your thumbs because it's easier to keep your arms where they should be. There's 1,000 ways to cheat, and people will cheat left, right, and center unless they have objective eyes telling them. It's part of how we're designed. And again, it doesn't stop at a front lever. Honestly, I believe in epochs past we were far superior than the human species we are now, including in strength. A hollow hold is like learning to write a lowercase a. This move progresses to all the way up to front levers and ninja strength and windmills and flares and power moves. Fourth move, legs. We made a video for the horse stance challenge, just 60 seconds, free hoodie. I should have put a time limit on it because we've gotten a ton of responses, but I will now. One more week until February 12, 2024. But don't even think about weights until you can do a horse stance for 5 minutes straight. Yeah, 5 minutes. I did that too. And it's gonna feel like acid pouring down your legs. Do it anyway. This transfers into vaulting, flips, wall flips, even huge drops. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video doing 5 rounds, but you will have to pick your own moves, just like choosing the character in a video game. Each is different and has different ability levels. If I told everyone who watches this video exactly what moves to do, I'd be flat out lying. The cross-section examples we pulled from in this video were flying frog, let's say 30 seconds, multi-movement hang for time, hollow hold done correctly and with a painful level of attention to detail, and maxed out horse stance going for 5 minutes. But here's how this paradigm of training works. Maximal engagement, meaning absolute brute force attempt. Pushing, pulling, core and legs, plus your mind every day. It should not be compartmentalized into separate days, and it should not be thought of as pre-programmed theories of sets and reps. That is simply not how we are designed. We are organic, life-breathing, exceedingly complex, but sublimely simple creatures of growth, development, and adaptation. Eventually, your training might consist of 30 minutes straight of nothing but vaults at all angles, which is dynamic and requires the entire body and mind. Set goals and use tools, sure, but true transformation happens by way of the hard stuff you don't want to do when you don't want to do it over long periods of time, again and again and again, all with a positive attitude and consideration of it as pure joy. If you do that, you'll not only survive, but thrive and be stronger than you ever thought possible, physically and mentally. See you in the next video and in training soon.